Well, I'm going to do a installation of the leading edge kit on the horizontal stabilizer for the Cessna 180. Tantalin Aviation of Port Allsworth, Alaska put this out. First step is to remove the stabilizer center skins, outboard skins, leaving just the center stabilizer inner stricture intact. I'm creating a jig here. You want to keep the hinge lines in line. I notice that this hinge line isn't quite perfect, and so I may just set it up so that I put it together the same way it was. I'll have to look at that a little harder, but yeah, it should be an interesting project. The leading edges are all thicker material. The skins are 25 and 20. I think the 25 is on top. They talk about these ribs here too being later and greater and stronger, and having troubles identifying them. It's recommended that you just replace the ribs, but we shall see. Yeah, just gotta get a start to drill. I'm taking the ribs off now. These remain. These turn out to be the correct ribs. You can see by the part number. So those are good. And it's an old horizontal stabilizer. It's been rebuilt before. You can tell it's got new ribs in here. So some of the holes are a little not perfect. I do have some oversized rivets that I'll probably use. They're the same AN 470s, but they're actually a little bit larger, and use a 20. So I put my bulb angle in. I just clecoed it in. I'm gonna have to replace these two ribs as they aren't the dash 11 and dash 10. They're kind of tweaked too. But I put my bulb angle in. I just clecoed it in. They talk about 14 match drilling holes here, and then 6 match drilling holes from the spar for these. And so you have to drill these out, put the small bulb angle in, and then back drill and match drill those. I put the leading edge on, and it's stiffer than hell, so you really can't bend it around. So I'm gonna have to like form it up on the floor a little bit, I think, and maybe take a couple pieces of wood, clamp it between there, and just put it on the floor and start giving it a little love. But it just is, this 40 thousandths is so tough that it's just really hard to bend around. I can't even. So I'll have to like work it. I'm gonna replace a few other ribs, maybe this one as well. It's got little issues, but coming along. So I got my leading edge on there. I got it all clecoed out. I clecoed it up to 30s. They call out for putting 40s in there first, but the holes are just under 30. They must be like a 32 or something. And if I put a 40 in there, I kind of figure the 40 is going to wander around in that hole. So I just went and put 30s in. I still have a couple 40s in here, the original ones. And I haven't put this one in yet. I kind of got it on there and kept going. So I'll have to come back and drill these rivets out and put the T20, I think it is, in there and go back to do that. But I had to put some draw clecos in here, really draw it up tight. I still haven't drilled here yet, so yeah, it's not looking too bad. It's pretty sprung here. I got to put some nut plates in here. There are nut plates go all the way down here, so you can take the tip off. But that is beefy. That is a beefy spar now with that 40 thou on the front. And I don't think I'll ever get any twist in it. I got to put the other leading edge on, but I'm still waiting for these ribs. So I'll do what I can. Get her done. Trying to get a little more bend out of this 40 thousandths leading edge. It's really springy, man. So I clamped a couple boards on there, and then I've just been pushing down real hard, trying to get like a little bit more bend in it, trying to get a little curve in it maybe. The trick is you got to be careful that you don't bend too much, because your bending force is usually right about here. So I put this piece of wood in, hoping that as I bent it over, that it would bend up in here a little bit more. But it came down a little bit. I did it on the other side. It just, when you put that thing on, it's just got so much spring on it. You got to use so much force to get that edge down. Once you got one side clecoed, that it's a bear. It's tough. But I got this one down really good. I got the TA whatever 20 in there. Got to be careful. This little piece inside there wasn't sitting hard and flush. I had to put a couple draw clecos in it, draw it down, then the holes didn't line up. So anyway, got it. So I got my right hand leading edge all clecoed up, drilled. Watch out for this little angle here, this T19, and sometimes it doesn't lie straight and flat on the spar. For some reason this does and this doesn't. I don't know, old elevator, I mean horizontal stabilizer. Now I cut the leading edge off the old horizontal stabilizer skin, and I clecoed the skin back up. Usually I'll cleco it all together and then use it as a drill pattern, but I noticed when I clecoed it up, these holes don't line up anymore. I got these holes lining up, but these aren't lining up. So what I may have to do is use these holes up at top when I go drill my pattern, and then use a hole finder to find these holes. And these line up here, but these don't here. So be careful when you go and drill your skin. If you use the skin as a pattern, make sure the pattern's correct. So I got one of my skins made up here. They say leave 2 inches extra up here to trim to, but I kind of knew exactly where my edge wanted to be, so I just left this as the straight edge on the sheet metal. Left a real nice straight edge there, and then I trimmed this. It's still a little long down here. I drilled these first and then these, and I came in the backside here and used a hole finder and found these holes. I still have the hinge holes, which I'll use my old skin to find, and I just got to straighten this edge out, take this corner out, and then these are the Tinnermans for the fairings. Nut plates will go here, and I'll show you a little later how I set up the trim pattern for my skin when I do the others. I also back drilled where these screws go in here by just taking this one off and coming through with a long drill bit. By taking this one off and the skin over here, I was able to just back drill where the nut plates go. They're still a number 30. They have to be opened up to a number 12 eventually, once I get my nut plates in there and everything like that. Like I said, I'm going to make everything, take it all apart, prime it, paint it, and then assemble it all at once. Kind of did it that way. Well, I've trimmed my skin out, filed the edge about 3/8 off from the spar. I trimmed this trailing edge here, and it's like a 1/2 to 3/8. And it's interesting, when I put the old skin up, I had to drill a couple holes here that I couldn't get to, and I had to use the old skins. I don't know what it is about the old skins, but they might have had an oil can or something, because when I got them all lined up, some of the other holes didn't line up. But in this piece, all the holes line up. Like I said, I came in here and used my hole finder to get these, not the pattern on the skin, because I was afraid that things had shifted or that skin had a little oil can in it. Like I said, I'm not the first person who's been on this job, so, but now this skin fits real nice and flat. It's looking pretty good. I think it's just about there. I trimmed these corners around, filed the edges, got them cut pretty close to right on here. Yeah, so I think I'm pretty close to being done with that skin. One of the things I have to do is these holes have to get blown out for the screws. Tinnermans on this side of the skin in here. I'll put those probably on after I paint the thing. Yeah, yep. I put the whole old right-hand top skin up, just checking the alignment of the holes from what I drilled out and make sure that they're all looking pretty good. What I'll do is I'll cleco these two together, making sure that these holes line up when this is clecoed together. The last thing you want is this thing kicking up or that. That skin I found to be a little bit different, so I used the top holes, but I noticed these holes weren't lining up when I put the old skins on there. Why? I don't know, but you got to be careful of that because you don't want a row of holes that don't line up with the holes you already have, even though some may be a little blown out or whatever. But it looks okay. So I'm going to use this, probably cleco it right together. Maybe I'll drill a couple new holes in here and then cleco those holes to make sure, because some of these are kind of blown up or blown out a little bit. So if I put fresh holes in, I know I'll get a nice clean hole for my cleco to keep the thing from wandering around. So I lay my skin down on top of my new piece of aluminum here, and using the backside marks off the top of my bulb angle, I've lined it up here, and that's roughly a little taller than maybe the bulb angle is, but right about the size. Now this is the straight edge, so I can use that at the top. And what I'll do is I'll drill a hole through one of my really nice holes right here, line that up, drill a hole through there, lay it out, mark it, cut it out, drill these holes, set my skin in, and move on from there. Well, I've been doing some pretty time-consuming stuff here. A lot of nut plates. Got my nut plates in, rails on, rails riveted on. I got my skins primed. There's one down there. Primed the inside of my skins, and I'm just kind of getting final here. So I got my leading edge all clecoed up. I just got it all clecoed together. I haven't riveted anything. Just sort of doing a trial run. Everything looks pretty good. I did run into one issue. This leading edge seems to line up real well with my rib on the tip. Skin's real flat. Skin's real flat here. Leading edge is on, and that is a bear to bend over. It is tough. But over here, I ran into a little issue where my rib is not quite centered in my cove here. And the bulb angles are all the same, and they all cleco, and they're all pilot drilled to the spar. So I'm not quite sure. I didn't see that earlier either. Now I got my skins laying real nice and flat, as you can tell. Everything seems to be fine except for this rib doesn't seem to be centered. Once I think the screws suck it in, it'll probably be okay. But boy, that leading edge is so stiff and hard to work with sometimes. I'll rivet all this together. Tomorrow I'm going to paint. I still need my two new nose ribs. But yeah, just sort of a dry run here with all the clecos and everything. Looks pretty good. Well, I got my skins all cut out. They're all on. There are some little Tinnerman nut plates that go underneath here on the skin for the fairings. I got these holes all blown out to a 10 or 12. Actually, I got my cuffs pretty well fit. I think they'll work just fine. The skins are looking good. I got the nut plates all in. I think what I'm gonna do, and I'm fitting this skin, just kind of tuck it up. I'm looking for these holes for my final nut plates on the nose ribs. I got my 2 new nose ribs here, and I'm waiting on another skin here. But other than that, I'm gonna come back in tomorrow and rivet the top skin on first, and then I'll have to, after I rivet the top skin off, I'm gonna pull this skin off, and then I'll do the lower skins, because you'll have to put the lower skins on here and then put this back on. So I only got a few rivets here and there, but yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it'll be good when it's done. I'm getting really close. I'm getting happy. Should be just a couple days. So we're down to riveting now. Riveted on the top skins. Got them pretty well set up. I'll come back and do the lower ones with a pneumatic squeezer, and that'll be real nice. So I got both sides riveted up now, and I'm all the way down to the trailing edge. I left the trailing edge till last, and I'm using this pneumatic squeezer to do my trailing edges. And if you've ever seen a mechanic smile or fall in love, it's with that thing. I'll tell you, man, it's just squeeze and go. So I just got my trailing edge to do, and these edges, and trailing edge on this side. Got the center section all put back together. I can almost see the end in sight. I got this tip on, the leading edge on here. This stuff is a real pain in the ass to peel off, so I'll leave that up to the owner. I'm sure he doesn't want to pay me an hourly rate to peel plastic, but yeah, I got it set up pretty good. Looks nice and straight. Skin's on good. All rivets are in. I did have an issue with this leading edge, and Monsoon Aviation up there in Palmer sending me a new skin, free of charge. Great customer service support. Yeah, that's nice. So I still have nut plates to put in here. When I get my new skin, I'll figure out those nut plates, and then I'll have to match drill and figure out, make sure it sits square on the tip, which it didn't do. So yeah, I can almost see the daylight. This is it's a long project. Takes 35 hours or more, and but this it makes just a bomber leading edge. I mean, this thing is tough, really tough. So it's coming along, almost there. I had to up a couple holes to 5s. Like I said, this thing's been somewhere before, and so the holes were kind of blown out, so I stepped them up to 5s. It'll look pretty good, and then I'll put this leading edge on. I still have these nut plates to go, a few more to put in there, and those nut plates, and I'm going to be done with this. It's a good sized project. It takes a good 30 to 40 hours. It's a big. Well, I'm all done. Got all my screws in, got my leading edges on. It's a 45-hour job. I just got a new leading edge here and had to fit it to here. Yeah, it turned out pretty nice. It's a good mod. This is going to be a bomber horizontal stabilizer. It's you know, you go and you dent your leading edge, and then you got to get it repaired. And you know, you might as well take the next step and go do this and not ever have to repair the damage again. It'll cost you a little bit more, but it'll last a while. Good value to the airplane. It's a great kit. Now it's off to the paint shop and be painted.